Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Fire Force Chapter 200. We are in the 200s now, people. When we last left our heroes, we were back at St. Raphael's Convent with Hibana as she tried to find a way under the altar, as she got an assist from Kareem and Hoyan. Under the altar, they found a storage room with material on bugs and plants and farming, which made Hibana come to the realization that the sisters were being produced like crops for some purpose. It's still a little bit vague. But then Sister Sumire pops up, the head sister of the convent. So we'll see what that's all about in Chapter 200, Holy Mother of Darkness. And our picture here is of these fish-like things, with the word, like, flying scrawled over them. No gravity, no direction, no order. In this world, there is nothing. And so we open right where we left off, with Sumire's face in the darkness as Hibana looks at her. And what business do you have here? Sister Sumire. The fire, all of this. Was it you? That's the answer you came searching for? And yeah, it's just like, it's not even like a disembodied face. Sumire's just kind of there. And Kareem is looking at this, and Hibana responds, "What have you been doing here?" My, you already have your answer, don't you? And Hoyan and Kareem are just like looking at this, kind of confused. The doppelgangers? Quite so. You always were such an enthusiastic student, double-checking your answers with a grown-up, just like old times. And Hibana like starts to scowl. Stop fucking with me! Tell me what you've been doing here! My, just up and demanding answers? That's unlike you. You were using the sisters for your doppelganger. Experiments. And Sumire looks at her. You deceived the devoted children you were in charge of, so you could turn them into pyrokinetics. And Kareem has somehow just figured that out. All of the sisters were innocent and obedient. Exactly. We adored you. And the collection of insect specimens catches Hibana's eye. And you turned against us. You mixed your adola bugs into our vegetables and fed them to us. And Sumire looks shocked at that. Which I figured that Sumire had figured that Hibana knew all this already. But Kareem asks, feeding people bugs to create pyrokinetics? What are you talking about? This is the truth of spontaneous human combustion. The mass SHC outbreak that happened here is one of Sister Sumire's doppelganger experiments. Doppelgangers are another version of someone that resides in Adola. She was trying to call them into our world. And how do bugs factor into that? The bugs are creatures from Adola. My guess is they serve as a link to our world. For every person in our world, a doppelganger of them exists. Spontaneous human combustion is caused by their existence intruding and merging with our own, isn't it? So what the hell is Adola? So is she saying that every single flame human is not the person that they were, but a doppelganger? That people aren't actually being converted into infernals, but the infernals are just doppelgangers, or that is there some kind of slight difference between them? I'm not sure. Also, does that mean that the people who we thought had been killed, turned into flame humans, are actually in Adola? I don't know. And Sumire looks at her for a moment and then smiles. I expected no less, Sister Hibana, to have unearthed such an answer. A spectacular child, grown into an even more spectacular thing. And then this light flashes down, it looks like, from the top of the room. Or no, because Hoyan says an earthquake, so I guess there's more of a rumbling than the light. What are these pillars? Thanks to my experiments, all of the pillars have been assembled. Assembled? You were performing Adola Burst experiments too? But the only living things left alive in the convent were you, Iris, and me. You don't mean... She is not aware of it, but the 8th and final pillar is the doppelganger of Amaterasu, the first pillar. Hold on. So I've said Iris is a pillar, going back to the end of the rescue arc. But Iris is the doppelganger? Hoyan asks, Sister Sumire, was it? What were you doing here? And Sumire does not respond to Hoyan. But Hibana is putting the pieces together. That can't be. Iris? Just how many orphans' lives have you toyed with for your experiments? And Sumire reveals that she has powers. Let's end the story here. You'll be buried alive in this place. It's a fight then. Hey, hold on. And so the men are trying to, like, butt into this discussion, but they're like, no one is paying any attention to them. I love that. How long were you experimenting on us? Even before you raised us? Was this place just your laboratory? There's another earthquake. Another earthquake. And Sumire, she's got this weird pose going on, but she showed up right next to Hoyan. And Hoyan kind of, like, extends out his hand to, like, fight her, but it's blocked by Sumire's wrist. Thundering peak elbow! And she, like, elbows him in the gut. With some fire. He's burned by that. I can't tell if he's not dead, is he? But Kareem readies out his, ice trombone. Hibana, fire, now! And Sumire just, like, shows up right next, like, pops up right in front of him. I love this shot here. The way that, like, Sumire, like, looms over Kareem, thanks to the way the angle is. And the actual focus is on... So Sumire just, like, touches the trombone, and it, like, melts away. And Kareem watches that. She did that with just a touch. Then Sumire places her hand on Kareem's chest. It's cold down here, isn't it? And she does something to Kareem. We see, like, blood comes out of his nose. And he, like, falls down to his knees. And so she looks at her palm, and she sees a little bit of, like, ice on her fingertips. So you're Kareem. To be able to steal heat away in an instant. You know, as a child, Rekka was incorrigibly energetic and had such a strong sense of justice. Kareem looks up at her. So you raised Rekka too? Hibana shouts. Just what are you trying to do? Always so curious. Alright, before you die, I'll reward you with the answer. The Great Cataclysm 200 years ago. It was a failure. Neither the number nor the strength of the pillars were enough. And so the world was left as cinders. Since that failure, I have been continually making pillars for the next one. What? Who is she? Huh? 200 years? What the hell are you? SHC didn't exist before the Great Cataclysm? I thought that was known. Though maybe it's just been so long that no one can remember that. Well then what was the Great Cataclysm? A spontaneous human combustion is the awakening of an individual by merging with their doppelganger. Then was the Great Cataclysm to be the merging of Adola and our world? And then Sumire just continues, quite the cold day we're having, wouldn't you say? And Hoyan, who's still alive, just so we know, another earthquake. He feels the rumbling. The vibrations are just as powerful as that attack she hit me with. No, these earthquakes. Just what is your ignition ability? You'll be buried alive in this place. And Hibana just, like, cuts her off. There's a reason I came here. Even more important than the mysteries of this world. And that's getting revenge on the person who stole the lives of my beloved friends. Do you really believe everybody died? And we see this kind of dark flame-looking thing rise up from Sumire's feet. And we see the shock on Hibana's face. And these tiny little child demons crawl out of the dark flames. Hibana, it's hot. Sister Hibana. Demons. Children demons. Hibana. And Hibana recognizes the demon. Sakura? And Sumire looks at her and, like, has that same kind of paused, frowning face. We're not that far from hell, you know. She doesn't want to believe it, that this ghastly thing is Sakura. The gate to hell lies open. To be continued, chapter 201, Imps. No chapter next week due to the magazine being on break. Alright. So, this was a huge chapter. Sumire has showed up to tell us everything that we don't already know. She's told us a lot. There's still a lot of questions, and maybe she'll tell us the rest before this arc is over. So So yeah, Sumire is apparently 200 years old. Though we know Jonah is also ancient, so maybe that's tied together. That like Jonah's appearance-altering abilities can also affect like physical age. Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't think they've explained how he's so old, how Jonah's so old yet. But if they have, that's probably how Sumire is also still alive. But the first big reveal, we can try to talk them all through in order, is that Iris is the doppelganger of Hitohashira-me. Also interesting thing is that Sumire does not call Hitohashira-me by her name, but instead by Amaterasu, the role that she fills, which probably says something about her character. I'm not entirely sure what at the moment. But also that Iris is a doppelganger. That's the real shocker there. Like, how? I thought doppelgangers were all, like, flame humans, infernals. And yet, Iris is apparently a doppelganger. Also, Hitohashira-me is ancient, and Iris is, like, supposedly 17. Though, as we said, going back to 198, even the sisters at the time were scared of Iris. So yeah, a lot of what the hell going on over here. So yeah, I imagine we'll get more answers on that eventually. And then what else? So there's also Sumire's role in the Great Cataclysm. The Great Cataclysm was a failure. So Hibana thinks that they're trying to merge Adola and the normal world. But Haumea's lines have been a lot about talking about turning the world into a star. So we'll see exactly who is right there. I'm not very certain about much of any of that. Yeah, and then there are I'm guessing that the imps of next chapter's title are these guys, the little children demons. But yeah, this is a real shocker of a chapter. Also, great work on Okubo's part for making this for making Sumire seem simultaneously like a little old lady and like the scariest thing you've seen. Like, that's just, I didn't bring it up during the chapter itself. That's some really good work. But yeah, just a lot of huge revelations, and we'll have to see how they all kind of play out in the aftermath of this arc, of this chapter and the arc as a whole. So yeah, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, don't forget to drop me a like or subscribe or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!